Does your stream sound normal?
I couldn't even hear we were talking and stuff.
Alright.
See, now I feel like you're just making stuff for me to record.
No. Well, isn't that why we're doing a podcast?
Hey everybody, welcome to the first official episode of the Target Audience Podcast. I'm your host Ben, joined by my good friend, some could say even my best friend, TJ.
Yep, and that's me, and I'm joining you.
Live from TJ's room where we're recording. Before we jump into it, I just want to say thank you all so much. You've been incredibly supportive on YouTube and Facebook, where we've been posting our updates and our little kind of shebang.
Super cool. I didn't even expect to get this many listens or anything like that.
Yeah, we got about 60 more than I expected.
Yeah.
Which I mean, we're not doing gangbusters, but
no.
It's insane. It was way more people than I ever anticipated. The amount of people that we sent invites to on the page, combined with how many views we actually got on YouTube, we tripled it. Which I'm not sure where all those views are coming from.
Oh shit.
And I even looked at the analytics, and they're doing pretty good. We had a really good retention for how long people started and watched all the way through. Because most people, I figured, would just click it and just be oh, we're done. But we average out pretty good, and that means a lot to us, because it's it's really big.
Like we've mentioned before, if even one other person cares enough to listen to it, that's super cool.
Yeah. It's great, because we joked about oh yeah, our moms are gonna be the ones who listen to this, and our moms did listen to it. At least one of our moms.
I think my mom did.
All right, that's cool. Hi, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
So, thank yous aside, this might be the first official episode, as we stated, for some people. So let's just kind of give an overview for what we do. Our goal of this is to watch 5 movies a week, which is kind of a lot if you think about it, because you're dedicating 10 hours your week to this. That's more work than I actually put into my real job. And, it's a little nuts, but we're going to be watching movies that we've never seen before, ones that we really recommend to other people.
Ones that would just pique our interest.
Yeah.
Ones that we've been wanting to get around to watch. And
precisely.
It's the flame under our ass.
Yeah. So, for example, last week we decided up front that we're going to be watching 2 movies, one that we're recommending to each other, and then 2 movies that we've both had a separate interest to watch, as long as a new release, just to keep it fresh.
One's always a new release.
And because of that, we ended up choosing, I recommended to TJ that he watch Moon, which is a fantastic movie we're going to be talking about in a little bit, and I really wanted to see Train to Busan. So those were my 2. TJ recommended to me.
My 2 were Oculus and Eyes Wide Shut.
Now, which one had you seen before?
I saw Oculus before.
Alright. But that's the general gist of it. Before we jump in, though, I just want to kind of unwind a little bit. How was your week, TJ? What did you get up to?
It was alright. Hung out and watched some movies.
About 5 of them, at
5
least.
of them.
Did you watch more than 5 movies this week?
No, I didn't.
You were done by movie 5.
No, it's not that I was done. That's all 5 movies is a lot, man. That's all you have time for. That's potentially, even if you spread it out, that's a movie a day.
For most of it.
Weekends,
yeah.
It's...
I'll be honest, around movie 4, I was I wish I could be done right now.
Were you? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just because I was kind of dreading my last movie.
Okay. I feel you.
But it's okay. We'll get into it.
Okay. See, I enjoyed all the movies that I watched. It was a good week.
Besides the fact.
Well, minus what we did on Saturday.
Saturday, we and another friend of ours, Zach, we went on a little road trip to Winter Park.
Yeah, we were supposed to go see Death Metal Legends Obituary.
Play a tiny little bar that is located between an Aldi and a Subway.
Fucking Aldi, Subway, laundromat. It was such a weird, I've never seen a venue like that in a shopping plaza.
Yeah, and it was daytime, and the part that tourists go to in Florida. It wasn't this grimy little hole in the wall.
The best thing I saw was this elderly couple going into Aldi, parked next to somebody that's
shotgunning a beer in the backseat of their car.
Obituary shirts on. It's just such a weird, can you imagine being them? Oh my god.
Yeah, because they don't know what's going on.
But it turns out, we get there, we get in line, and the ticket guy is you guys got tickets? And we're nah, it's a death metal band. It's not gonna sell out or anything. And what happens? Oh, ain't nobody getting in without a ticket. Show's sold out. So we drove.
Completely sold out. All 7 tickets they had to sell.
What did we drive, 2 hours there?
About.
Yeah.
That's just because Zach's slow.
Huh?
That's just because Zach drives slow.
You think so?
I know.
Probably,
so.
Yeah.
It really was a 20-minute drive.
We'll blame it on the construction.
Yeah, let's leave him on construction. Not Zach. He doesn't listen to this anyway. It doesn't matter. So that was our weeks. Nothing too crazy on my side. I mean, I worked the job, went home, watched movies. Oh, fuck, I did forget something. I moved.
Moving.
I did move.
That's just a little...
Yeah, I'm in the process of moving right now, so things are a little shaky, but working on setting up like a recording studio and all that jazz.
Is this how your roommates are finding out you're moving?
I don't think they're going to listen to this anyways, but no, they found out a little bit beforehand.
Okay.
But yeah, that was kind of the gist of our weeks. So let's just jump right into this. Just to give you a warning, for the older movies that we're reviewing, we are going to get into spoilers, so just beware. These are older ones. They've been out a couple years, so don't be too surprised or shocked or afraid when we talk about something.
That's true. And also, for the letting people know what we're doing kind of thing. Because, 5 movies is a lot, and you even said it was rough on you this week. Mm-hmm. There are repercussions in play, right?
Oh, yes. We didn't even talk about this. Yeah. Might have to, do some, fancy editing here to swap these around. But, there's going to be punishment.
If you don't meet your quota.
If you don't meet your quota, you meet the punishment. And that's going to be any number of things. Either if it's just public humiliation, we make each other do something we don't want to do, like watch a movie that we hate. For example, I know there's some on TJ's list that he would refuse to watch, but unfortunately, due to the honor-bound code we're establishing,
we're just gonna do it.
He's got to do it. So
yeah. So there's that, and we also discussed there's gonna be times too where we have theme weeks.
We are gonna do the theme weeks. We have one kind of loosely planned for this week. It's not really like a true theme. But we're going to get into that towards the end of our show. We're going to do that in our wrapping up statements. So let's just, now that we've established that there's going to be some spoilers up ahead, buckle in. We're jumping right into our very first movie that we watched, Moon.
That was a really good one.
Now, do you want to talk about what Moon's about first before we jump into our thoughts?
Yeah, totally.
All right, cool. All right, let's talk about the 2009 film, Moon. Starring Sam Rockwell, special voice of Kevin Spacey. Other than that, it's a pretty empty movie on the cast. However, it's absolutely fantastic. Astronaut Sam Bell has a quintessentially personal encounter towards the end of his 3-year stint on the moon, where he, working alongside his computer Gertie, voiced by Kevin Spacey, sends back to Earth parcels of a resource that helped diminish our planet's power problems. The basic theme is that he's like a space engineer, and they're sending a helium-3 isotope back to Earth, and Earth was really fucked up. It was having intense power problems. There were children starving, brownouts in major cities, all that jazz. And it's a really fun character piece that I fell in love with a few years back and recommended to TJ. So off the top, TJ, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm glad you recommended this one. I loved it when I finally got around to watching it, and these ones are cool to talk about, right? Because, spoiler wise,
this came out in 2009.
It came out in 2009.
People have had their time to talk about this.
No, it was cool. It almost reminded me of in a way, just some kind of Twilight Zone episode.
It does,
or something like that.
And it's also it's short enough that it probably could have been made into a Twilight Zone episode.
And one thing I love too is the pacing, the way the story's set up. Some people talk about I think that by it slowly introducing it takes a minute to unveil that Sam is actually a clone.
Yeah, they do they even do a double take fake out moment at one point.
No, that's what I mean. It's really cool because up until he rescues the other person that looks like him, and he's like, what the fuck? He's just going through the mundane tasks.
Yeah.
Of, they even have memories implanted, so they don't even realize
what's going on.
There's other people out there because it's only one at a time. They don't interact. So it's really cool when he comes across one. The way it's handled is I love the pacing of it because even for a split second as a viewer, your eyebrows are raised.
You're what's going on here?
There's even a point when he meets the other one when he's talking to him.
He assumes he's crazy.
One thing I love, he tries to get him to shake his hand at one point, and it doesn't happen.
They do the Tyler Durden thing.
They do the hand thing, and he doesn't do it. They do a high five at one point, and then it doesn't happen, and then it builds up to that fight.
Yeah.
When he starts brawling with them.
Beating the shit out of each other.
That's, to me, such a cool, oh, shit moment of this isn't, he's not going crazy, because you could easily go crazy if you're on the moon by yourself.
Yeah, 3 years of isolation, that does it. All he has to talk to is a robot. Something that they established pretty early on is that the communication tower's down. And as a result, there's no new info coming in. He can't get out, except for really, really delayed messages. So he gets a football game from several years back.
Oh man!
And he's like, oh, it's almost like it's live, kind of.
One thing also that I really loved about it was like the set design, man.
Yeah, it looks like a 20-year-old moon facility.
Like very just like an old timey sci-fi type.
Think like it has like aesthetics of like early Star Trek, where it's kind of got that like kind of smoothed over look, but it also looks kind of like to me like an alien universe.
Yeah. But also, it's like it's done on like almost like a scale model type thing, like something like you'd see like in a
there's a glass roof, and they don't realize that they're on the inside.
And
little tiny people.
And I also like the way the layout of the ship or his headquarters was, where he was staying, because it was very claustrophobic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And also, when it's just you and a clone kind of thing, it added to the suspense.
And it also has tons of tiny little details that I missed on the first go around. Like there's a scene where he's throwing up in the toilet, and on the wall next to it, there's a bunch of like smiley and frowny faces. And I realized that was like his personal journal, like keeping track of like how he's feeling that day. And you can see like parts where it's like, oh man, he was like on top of the world for a little while there, and then there's like a long sadness.
It looked excellent though, and I read that I think the budget was only like $5 million.
Yeah, it was a super tiny movie, and it's also directed by Duncan Jones, who's David Bowie's son.
It's like the coolest shit ever. Destined for great things, dude.
Yeah, like he's off to like a really good start for his career. Warcraft movie kind of aside. But yeah, Sam Rockwell is absolutely fantastic in this movie.
This is definitely like a piece where it makes you appreciate him as an actor.
Yeah, because like for the long, he's kind of been pigeonholed as like kind of a goofy actor, but to be honest, between this and three billboards in Ebbings, Missouri, like it establishes him as like no, he can actually play like a serious role. He's got a little bit more range than people give him credit for, even though he kind of got like pinned for like kind of like goofy screw up for a long time.
Yeah, I mean the only other one I'm trying to think of. Did you ever see Confessions of a Dangerous Mind?
No, I haven't.
That's one we'll have to come back to later.
That and then there's
it was a really good role of his though. Like I enjoyed it. It makes him have to step. He's still kind of goofy at one point, but it definitely shows his other capabilities. Yeah, not as much as Moon though. Moon is one that's his standout.
Yeah, like for sure.
Yeah.
And like it he sells it so well just because there's a young clone and an old clone. Let's just treat it that way.
The only other person that he reacts with is not even a person. It's Gordon.
Yeah, it's Gertie. Yeah. Gertie the robot. But like he manages to play basically the old Sam and the new Sam. They're completely different characters just because over the 3-year stint where old Sam was doing. He started off with anger problems, and he is the final result where like he's come to terms with his station in life, and that he's just hopeful to get back. And the new Sam has this pent up aggression. He's he flies off the temper, and they have a scene where he's just like, "Look, man, you're gonna have to like learn how to chill out. Here's some like meditation. Start carving the town up and all that stuff." Yeah,
no, that was really cool too. I like the little town thing that he did. And that's also showed you that like it would take more than 3 years to be that elaborate too.
Yeah. Which is like something where like it starts off where it's like, man, he's really been doing it. Then he talks about it, he's like, oh, I didn't start this like the guy before me did.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then the new Sam's like, you'd never stop to think that like this is like your hometown, and that's kind of weird that there's like models there. I was like, oh, huh.
Yeah. I also love like the level too, like where it starts like by the end of the movie you start questioning like like the morality of like even like these clones, they have memories injected in them like they're real people. It's based on the real Sam Bell.
Yeah.
Like the first OG guy. And it's memories that are implemented in there, and it's crazy by the end. You get really like emotionally attached at one point because you start like the one clone is willing to help out the other one just so that way he has a chance to like live those memories.
Yeah, like
see if the world is what it's implemented in their head to be.
Yeah, because like he has all these memories of a daughter he was never there to raise.
I really like that. And I also like the Gertie's a really cool character too.
Gertie
he's hard to read.
Gertie's a good boy.
He's a good boy, but there's a couple points where they paint him like he might have ulterior motives too.
But he doesn't. Like he's not a Hell 9000. At the end of the day, like Gertie's along with the plan.
But I love when Sam. I think both versions of Sam have these like questioning interactions with him of like remember when they find the room of all the
he's like hey there's bodies down there. He's like, you're not supposed to be there.
I love it because he's like, oh Sam, you found that. Do you want some food? And it's like he keeps throwing food in his face, which would work 100% on me. Yeah. It's like you're damn right I'm hungry, but we do have stuff to talk about.
Why are there 3 TJs in my basement? But yes, I would like a McChicken, thank you.
It's like you haven't eaten. Anytime it was a tough question, do you want some food?
We'll just roll you out.
But no, excellent movie.
It was great. I absolutely loved it. But like it does, we kind of like scooted past this a little quickly. It's like, it does like ask the ethical question. Where it's like, is it okay to make clones and put them in this situation because you're not? Does it count as like a real human life?
Are clones people too?
Are clones people too?
And that's something that like I think is really cool about this movie is it makes you think about it, dude.
Yeah, because it's like, well,
is it humane? Because at the end of the day, these people like. They don't know that they're a clone.
They don't know they're a clone. But to be honest, up until these two, none of them knew they were a clone. They went out happy. Because they're going back to Earth. They got, like, the happy thing. And then they're just, really humanely just, done.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy is, like, the level of, like, how they became friends, too. Like, I thought it was, by the end of the movie, you're really emotional when they're like, oh my god, like, if they know that we're talking together...
They're going to kill one of us.
Clones, they're going to kill one of us.
Yeah, so they stage a death.
Yeah, he sacrificed himself.
Yeah, but the plan was to grab, like, another clone, and he was like, we just gotta fucking beat his head in and leave him there and just act like he's you. Yeah, but even then, like, the act of the new Sam is like, hey, I'll stay behind, you go. Because he knew that, like, look, this guy's running on borrowed time here. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to send the old Sam to Earth while he figured out his own plan afterwards.
It's definitely one hell of a... Duncan Jones really...
Duncan Jones fucking killed it.
This is his debut film, I believe, too.
I believe so.
Yeah, which that's one hell of a starter. Definitely I'm going to keep an eye out for more. I told you that Mute is supposed to be in a connected universe. That's another movie. Allegedly. That is one that is on the back burner. We're going to have to get to that one. Yeah, but I heard... I'm excited. I heard that it somewhat ties in to the same, like, world sort of thing. Is it directed by Duncan Jones as well? It is directed by Duncan Jones. Oh, cool. Yeah. Cool, I'm on board with that. Yeah. So that should be really cool. Yeah. All right, moving on into our next movie, Oculus, which is what you recommended to me. Mm-hmm. This is a movie about a woman who tries to exonerate her little brother, who was convicted of her parents' murder by proving that the crime was committed by a supernatural phenomenon that lives in a mirror. Or is the mirror, to better put it. No, it's an entity that uses the mirror's like a tool. The mirror's a conduit. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like how in it's almost more of almost like a siren type. Yeah, like it sucks people in and it corrupts and influences them. Yeah. Yeah. TJ, what was your take? Go ahead. I will be completely honest with you. Mm-hmm. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. There wasn't any aspect of it that you enjoyed? It was slow with no payoff. Because you get like... See, I can see why some people don't like it, just in terms of you're going to have to... It's riddled with plot holes, in a sense. Like, you're going to have to suspend disbelief on the way certain situations are and some of it you got to play on. It's like, oh, well, it's the altered perception of this ghost fucking with people. I thought overall it was a really cool ghost story, and I like the idea of it altering your perception of reality to kind of just psychologically mess with you. And it's not so much what's going on in the movie, but it does it to the viewer, too. Like, there's points in that movie where... You're like, oh my god, like, is this really happening or is it not? Like, see, the apple scene gets me every time. My entire thing with that is immediately that whenever something crazy happened, I'm go, it's in their fucking head, but it's gonna have physical repercussions, which I thought it was cool. And also the way they tried to tell the story, it's almost like two movies in one with the two timelines. Yeah. That was a really cool dynamic that not a lot of movies. I'm not saying this one could have executed it a little better, but it was a cool attempt, man. Yeah, it was an interesting theory, or like, not an interesting theory, but it was like an interesting shtick to it. But... And I like how, like, an hour into the movie, it's like your typical, like, run-of-the-mill modern-day ghost story. That's my fucking problem, is that it's just like... But the back half of the movie... It's an hour and 40 minutes, but it takes an hour and 20 minutes to get anywhere with it. Not an hour and 20 minutes. I'd say about, like, 40 minutes in, it becomes, like, a whole other movie. Because, like, okay, so, like, you're watching the first 40 minutes... And it has fucking nothing going on in it. Because, like, let's compare it to, like, a movie I like. Okay. Like The Conjuring. You know what it is, too? Is I think I was fascinated by I liked the lore and mythology they built behind the mirror. Yeah, but again, it took way too fucking long to get there. Absolutely. So, like, let's compare this, like, to a Conjuring, where in the first 40 minutes, it builds tension because you set up all these elements to be played upon later, and it's got creepy stuff going on just kind of sprinkled in, but it doesn't hit that, like, boiling point until relatively late in the movie. This one, it goes from, like, there's nothing going on but just exposition to exposition to exposition to exposition,
Until finally they get there and they get the mirror in their house and they're like, alright, I set up all these cameras. And then it gives more exposition for why they're setting up cameras for 10 minutes. And then finally some little bit of shit happens.
No, shit does happen.
She sees something spooky when she first sees the mirror.
The opening shot is them as kids trying to destroy the mirror, and then like the dad fucking killing the mom, and then the son killing the dad. Like,
that was 2 minutes, and it was a dream.
It wasn't a dream. That was the recollection that the guy had.
But it wasn't really...
Because then remember, the psychologist convinced the dude, the brother, that he didn't do it.
No, because he was talking about his dream, because he was the shooter, and he was an adult.
He wasn't really the shooter, though.
You know that later in the movie. You know but he was describing his dream in the beginning.
The whole reason they bring the mirror to the house and the sister gets it is to prove his innocence.
Yeah, but there's so much fucking nothing happening. It's like, okay, we established that in the very first 2 minutes of the movie, Dad probably went crazy, killed the mom, tried to kill the kids. Mm-hmm. Alright, cool, we got that. And then it's like, okay, well, where is he now? Alright, well, let's do 10 minutes where we talk about how he's been convinced that he's not crazy, or that he was crazy. Mm-hmm. And the doctor's like, alright, he's cool, he can reintegrate back into society. And then we have another 10 minutes of the daughter talking about how, alright, hey, I kept the promise, because I know that her dad didn't...
I thought it was also fascinating, like, it was almost like, I'm not going to say comical, but like with how far she was willing to go.
She was a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. I don't know, I just thought it was like a fun ghost story that it tried some new shit, man. You didn't like
needed to be an hour shorter.
You didn't like the perception of reality things, though? Like when she's eating the apple.
Those were the only redeeming parts of it.
For me, I think it's also just a personal thing for me. When people mess with like
fingernails, because
when he took that staple... And there's some genuinely good stuff. Then you're like, did that happen? Did it not happen?
It doesn't carry the movie in any way.
And I thought the twist ending, it was enough to like put a smirk on your face. You didn't like the twist?
No, because I saw it coming.
Comes around full circle. You knew that was going to happen?
I knew for a fact it was going to happen within the first like 15 minutes of the movie. I'm like, oh, well, one of them's going to die.
I don't know. I've seen it a few times. I guess it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Like, I thought it was a cool ghost story, man. I thought it was cool. I thought it tried some new shit. But
it took way too long.
You're also talking about The Conjuring is a good
And her plan was fucking stupid from the start.
Yeah. You know, also, that boyfriend's a real trooper. Or Karen Gillian's boyfriend.
Until because he's just like, I'll humor you. I'll help you steal this mirror.
Not only that,
I'll call you every hour on the hour.
Call you every hour on the hour. Not only that, the part that got me was like when she's in his office and he's like, hey, you're scaring people at the copier.
Stop leaving your fucking printings of graphic violence on.
Really graphic shit.
Then why'd she need to print those? I still don't remember where that plays in.
No, she did, because remember when she's narrating in front of the camera?
Oh, you're right, because she didn't have like Adobe After Effects.
She was going through the rundown. It felt like you were watching like a really just fucked up. You ever watch those ghost adventure shows or anything? Yeah. It's not that I believe in it, but I like the lore. I didn't think the lore
was really that interesting. It's like, cool. This mirror, people die when they're around the mirror. Is all it is.
In the last episode that we talked about, remember when I said that it's not campy, but I do like kind of weird stuff?
I just thought it was poorly acted. I don't think Karen Gillan really sold any.
You don't think so?
I thought the brother was alright. The guy played by Byrne. I thought he was okay. But Karen Gillan she's there and she just yells things to yell them. It was like, I don't name the dog. It's the dog. It's gonna die later anyway. I'm not naming it. And she's like, why? Why?
I don't know. I thought it was cool.
And then she's like, the mirror can't be destroyed, but I'm going to have this mirror-destroying device where if I don't do anything, it'll swing shut and then decapitate me later. Because it's neck height.
It played it safe for a little bit, but it did try some new concepts. I like the idea of it altering, like, as a viewer watching the movie, this movie does things where you don't know what's going on. And to me, that has potential to create some unnerving moments. Could it have been executed better? Yes. But it kind of reminded me, almost in a sense of, like, a slightly, almost like a Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, but that's the thing where it's like, it was a neat premise just ruined by being way too long.
I also liked the...
it didn't need a full movie.
I liked the way the ghost looked. Like the bright eyes kind of...
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
It did look really cool.
I'll give you that. I'm not going to fight you on that one.
And also, like, the whole, like, the mom being chained up. That was
her teeth were all fucked up.
That was another thing. I get, once again, you got to suspend disbelief. I guess the best way, for me, the reason it would be slightly unnerving why I like it is not everything necessarily is going to make sense. It's like being able to, like, when you're having a nightmare.
Yeah.
And you're trying to yell for help, and you don't even know what direction to yell in, kind of thing. And it does create some of those moments in different ways. Also, I think what it is, too, is there's that point where a lot of modern-day mainstream horror movies, total bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you got the Paranormal Activities, the Insidious, up to like whatever, however many Insidious.
See, I'll be honest though, I don't like the Insidious movies, but they don't take forever to get there. They're just like, you know what, fuck it. After the first one does like a good job of establishing the tone. And then the later ones, it's like, fuck it, you're in Ghostville. But
how many Insidious movies have you seen?
I saw the first 3, maybe 2.5. I don't remember finishing the third. I couldn't tell you.
So obviously they're not taking enough time to. They are taking their time to get there.
Well, just because they're kind of garbage.
Yeah,
but
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying is, I think that when it came out too, it caught me as one that was. It's not the best horror movie you've ever seen, but it's not bad. It definitely has some idea. It tries something new. Mike Flanagan's other movies that he's done, I think since then, he did like Hush. You remember Hush?
I do remember Hush. That's the one with the mute.
Yeah.
No, the
deaf.
deaf.
It was the deaf girl.
The deaf girl, not the mute
and she
girl.
gets like the home invasion kind of thing going on. That one was cool, and
she gets invaded by Johnny Three Tears from.
He did Gerald's Game since then, the Stephen King movie,
which is supposed to be pretty good.
Did you see that one?
Nope.
No. Wow, that one is pretty good. But what I'm saying is, like, when I saw this movie, it did have enough eye-catching things where I'm like, there's some potential here. Could it have been executed better? I see some of the things that you're pointing out, and I can see it. But to me, watch it like it's like this is like just a terrible nightmare you've had, and I think it is a cool, fun ghost story horror movie. Like,
the first 40 minutes, there's just so much nothing going on.
Yeah, and
that didn't need to be there.
And like I said, I think I was just personally, I like the story. I was fascinated by the lore they built behind the mirror itself, like, and what happened with it.
This is one I don't think we're going to see eye to eye on.
That's fine.
I'm gonna leave it up to the audience.
No, I can respect
who
that.
was more convincing, myself or TJ? Look at the pros and cons we gave.
No, I feel you.
Maybe give it a shot yourself. This isn't one we can give a strong recommendation. It's like, hey, Moon was great. You should watch Moon.
It's a perfect example too of what defines horror, man. I mean, what scares me doesn't necessarily scare you. We all got special.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's necessarily a terrifying movie. I do see what you mean, and that's why I'm calling it more of a ghost.
Well, my issue isn't that it wasn't scary. It was just that it was poorly paced.
You think the pacing was?
I think the pacing was the main issue for this.
Was there anything that you felt like that is neat? Like, do you?
No, I liked all the visuals, but it just took way too long.
Do you like the concept of like a ghost altering your perception?
Yeah, I'm down with that idea.
I love the moments like when especially because the ghost vanity in there had it out for the mom.
Yeah.
Like, harder than anybody. Remember when she's, like, just looking in the mirror at one point, it makes her look ugly and bloated and stuff like that. It's like, that's a creepy concept.
Yeah. That Amityville did.
It was cool, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm moving on.
I got you.
I'm not sold on this one. It wasn't my favorite.
I feel you, man.
But our third movie that we watched this week was Eyes Wide Shut. This was actually TJ's movie that he wanted to watch that we neither of us had seen it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, we watched this one together.
We did watch this together. Before I even talk about the movie, I ended it with just standing up and leaving.
Yeah,
I didn't want to talk about it.
Well, leaving that weird list that you wrote a little while ago.
I did have a weird list of just celebrity names.
If we have time, remind me to come back to it. And I just want to see what other people think that list might be.
Okay.
Because it is such a random list.
I'll remind you at the end.
But yeah, no, he just slapped that on the table and was like, "Gotta go. Big morning ahead of me. Peace." And this is,
this was Friday night, wasn't it?
And that's a movie too that there's a lot that sits with you, and it's just like to get up and just be like, "All right, well, peace."
Yeah. But so we can actually talk about the movie. Eyes Wide Shut is a movie starring Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Tom Cruise plays a New York City doctor married to an art curator, Nicole Kidman, who pushes himself on a harrowing and dangerous night-long odyssey of sexual and moral discovery after his wife admits that she almost cheated on him. Let's say almost cheated on him is not the motivation for him doing this.
No.
Motivation is her...
She emotionally fucked him up.
Yeah, the movie starts with an opening scene of the two of them getting ready to go to a fancy,
It's like a doctor's ball kind of thing.
Yeah, there's I don't think he's a doctor. Ziegler.
Wasn't he like a surgeon or something like that?
Well, Tom Cruise is a surgeon.
Yeah,
but I want to say the other guy was a politician or something. They go to they don't say what he does. Okay. He's an important person.
I know that when he ran into his other friend at that same party...
Yes,
went to the same medical school and stuff.
They did. Nicole Kidman's character goes to this dinner party, accepts a drink from another guy, not the end of the world, gets fucking hammered, starts dancing with the dude. The dude's talking about how bad he wants to bone her, and at the very end she goes, "I'm sorry, I'm married, but otherwise, I'm down." And then they set up Tom Cruise, is that, like, there's these two pretty ladies that are talking to him through the night, and they're all up on him, and then he's like, "So where are we going, by the way?" And they're like, "We're gonna go fuck, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit, I can't do that, I'm married."
Well, prior to that, too, though, when they're getting ready for the party, they do start to slightly paint that, like, their marriage isn't, like, you know, bad, but there's pieces starting to chip off in terms of their relationship.
I think it's the shininess wearing off the penny. I think it's just
Yeah,
part of being in a
that's
long
a good
relationship where
Yeah.
it's just like, you don't need to fill every silence with talking.
But you can see why, like, such temptations would pique their interest.
I think they were just bored.
Yes. Okay.
Is what I think it is. I mean, there's, like, some resentment because she's a stay-at-home mom now. She hasn't been working, and she's just frustrated with, like, that side of life.
Yeah, and I'm also going off of things that you, like, find out later in the movie, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, back to the whole, like, wife admits she almost cheated on him. So, the old dude at the party was hitting on her, and she's like, "Sorry, married, can't do it." Loops back around, and then, like, they get home, and they smoke weed.
Dude, that's, like, one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
They don't act like they're high on marijuana.
No, and if so, where can I get a bag of that?
Yeah, because, like, they act like it's fucking, like, truth serum, where it's just like, let's get everything out, but also sound like we're a little slow.
Yeah. I will say that, to me, personally, the scene was Nicole Kidman's standout part in that whole movie. Because
she's just like, I wanted to fuck that naval officer last summer.
She was a fucking... Well, it all starts off because she said, "Those two girls, did you fuck them or want to fuck them?" And he was like, and he's
no.
like, "Why would I do that?" And then he's like,
"I love you more than anything."
He's like, "Did you fuck that guy?" kind of thing. And she's like, "No." But then it turns into the argument about jealousy. She's like, "You never get jealous of me." And he's like,
"Because I'm confident in our relationship,
like,
because you're the mother of my child."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You only want to fuck me because you're the mother. I'm the mother of your child." He's like, "What?"
No, but then she proceeds to turn into a total fucking savage.
Yeah, she just tears into him, and then she's like, "Hey, there's this naval officer that I saw once, and I was just like, man, I really want to fuck him. And then I fucked you while thinking about him." And he's like, "Why are you telling me
she's
this?"
like, "We talked about our life's plans."
Yeah, we talked about our daughter, and Tom Cruise is just like, "Why are you telling me this?"
Yes. Not only that,
Why?
also, that's how you know Kubrick is an excellent writer. When he manages to work in a line, one of my favorite lines I've ever heard is Tom Cruise tries to, like, rewind a little bit, and he goes, "The pot is making you aggressive."
Which is what
and I was like, the fuck? But yeah, no, seriously, this pot made her super aggressive and brutally honest, which actually is a catalyst for everything else that happens in the movie.
Yeah, because otherwise he would have been like, "Fuck it, let me give this a shot."
Because it's like that argument goes on until he gets the call. Like,
yeah,
from,
he gets a call
patients.
that one of his patients passed away. He needs to make a night call and check in and, like, comfort the grieving daughter.
And that sets up on him embarking one of the most bizarre nights.
Yeah, because he ran into, at the aforementioned party, that one of the hired help who was playing the piano was a friend he used to go to school with. After this weird trip to the dead person's house,
he ends up the club.
He came across the club that the night the piano player was playing, the pianist was playing, and they end up hitting it off, and the pianist tells him about this crazy sex party he went to once.
Well, he didn't tell him it was a crazy sex party. He says it was unlike
anything he's ever seen, and that the women there are crazy attractive, and they blindfold him so he can't know anything that's going on.
It's definitely something that when somebody tells you, it's definitely like, go on.
Yeah, like, where's this going? And Tom Cruise ends up saying, like, "You know what? Fuck it, I want in. That sounds crazy."
Yeah, he finds out, he overhears on the phone call the address and the secret word.
So he's like, "You might as well just tell me." Mm-hmm. And he rents a costume and goes on, like, a night's worth of shenanigans.
That's a whole other thing, too, when he rents the costume.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a weird subplot.
Yeah, there's, like, a weird subplot about a guy maybe whoring his daughter out, and Tom Cruise has so much cash on him at all points in time, and he goes to this party, and he bluffs his way through it up until the end.
That was one of the weird, one gripe of the movie I had is Tom Cruise, nobody questioned him once when he wanted any information or he needed a costume, all he had to do was take out his wallet
and
flash his not even
his
like
doctor's ID.
He goes, "Here's my doctor's ID," which I don't think has a picture on it.
No,
it's almost like in like Doctor Who when he has the fucking like the thing in his wallet that lets people see what they want to see. Then he just flashes that, and you're just like, "Oh my god!" Like nobody questions it once.
Like he goes to he goes to the costume store. Costume store guy's like, "Oh, you're a doctor?
That's what I mean.
Cool,
Like,
I'll take your money."
You got the wallet of a fucking Time Lord? Like, anybody can, like, read this. And
he goes to a hotel to ask for information about a guy who was staying there.
He goes to the morgue at one point.
He goes to the morgue.
And he's just like, "Hey, I'm a doctor. Can I see the dead bodies?"
Yeah.
And they're just like, "Okay.
Cool, sounds good to me."
That was one gripe I did have with, like, what the fuck? I get you don't have time to explain it all, but it's like, come up with, like, something.
Yeah, give him...
That's weird.
But also, money talks. He also bribed almost everyone he came across.
Yeah, you're right.
Like he's like, "Hey, cabbie, I'll give you $100 tip as long as you stay.
But
hey, I'll pay you $100 more than the cost of the price of the costume."
Back to him going to get the costume and everything, that whole subplot, it's like, I think it just adds to the layers of the movie. Like, you know how Kubrick never outright tells you...
Is it
like,
just that everybody's fucking?
No, I don't think it's that. Like...
Is it?
No, I mean...
that's way too blunt for Kubrick.
No, I definitely think it has, like, layers to it. And it's like a sense of, like, delving into the darker side of human nature pertaining to, like, impulses and desires and what
we're all animals.
I think it's also, like, what the repercussions are on when we act or when we don't act on those set things. Because it definitely shows, like, different perspectives. Like, even Nicole Kidman's character doesn't go through the things that Tom Cruise's character does, but they both come out with, like, a crazy awakening.
Yeah, except hers is that she's like, "I was kind of a bitch last night." And that's about it. Like, there's no comeuppance. He's like, "So are we, like, still married?" And she's like, "I want to still make it work for the kid."
No, I think she did realize that maybe she sent him on this downward spiral.
Yeah, does that justify it, though?
No, I'm not saying. I don't think anything in this movie necessarily justifies that.
I think they're both kind of shitty people. Well, no, they're both shitty people. I just think Bill Halford is less of a shitty person.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot there, and I mean, it's one of those, like, I think the more you think about it, the more that, like, pops up, you're like, oh, maybe that's what he was trying to say.
Because, like, I'll be honest, like, she was, like, talking about how she actively wanted to fuck other people, and he's just like, "I'm just curious what's going on in this secret world."
How about that fucking...
He did want to have sex with a prostitute.
Yeah.
And then he found out she had AIDS.
Yeah, he dodged a bullet with that one.
Yeah. But he seems like he would have used a condom, but it doesn't make it okay.
No, but there was some things, too, that were really cool with that, where, especially that scene, remember when he answers the phone? I like Kubrick, how
Which time he answers the phone? Sorry,
when he sees the prostitute, and then his wife calls, and it's like, "Are you coming home?" But in that shot, in that specific shot, since you brought up the prostitute thing, he had that, like, at the bottom of the frame was that introducing sociology book and stuff like that. Which, I know, I thought it was Scientology.
I know, but maybe that was on purpose. Maybe that was Kubrick, like, trying to be like,
I think it was on purpose, and I caught up cool things. I think the sociology aspect of it was on purpose. Because, I mean, this whole movie, that is a big underlying theme, like, pertaining to it.
And, well, Kubrick always has, like, tons of just, like, little things thrown out. Like, there was one time where, it was right after Tom Cruise thought he was being stalked, investigating the death, and he's holding a newspaper that he buys at a newsstand, and it says "Lucky to be alive"
and
on
that's
it.
something that makes you think, too. I love the way he can frame every shot to where things like that can say so much. Like, it adds to the story. It says something without saying anything.
Which shows in all his movies. Like, that's, like, his signature is, like, you can't watch a movie like this just once and pull away everything that you want to get from it.
It's definitely...
Yeah.
Definitely has layers.
Yeah, and there's things that just... you don't get answers for. I don't think there ever will be answers for that we can't get. Like,
I think it's...
like, if you get to the very end of the movie, he's talking to, Victor Ziegler, who's the guy who hosted the party in the very beginning, and he reveals that he was part of that weird sex cult party.
Wait, should we talk about the sex cult party?
No, you just gotta experience the sex cult. There's a weird sex cult party.
Well, yeah, that's a scene in itself. I'm not saying we should talk about said sex cult parties. But, no, what I'm saying is, like, he does get busted there.
He gets busted at the sex cult party.
That is something that's crucial to it. Is he gets busted there and he's forced to take his mask off.
Yeah, we're really dancing around on this because it's one that's like,
But so much happens.
There's something I don't actually want to talk about because
you're right.
It's one that you got to experience. Because like Moon, you can tie in and kind of spoil some stuff and you can go into it experiencing it.
I think it's it's more of an interpretational movie. Like, it's nothing that's not outright said, but he does get busted at the party.
He gets busted at the party and ends up talking to his friend Victor about it.
Who also is part of this creepy sex.
Who reveals he's part of it. And every time that he starts to give an answer, Tom Cruise goes like, yeah, but that's like bullshit because that girl died. And things like that. He's like, well, no, that part's true, but this other part wasn't true. It was actually this. And they go through that a couple times. And you never get an answer for actually what's going on.
Did you notice, too, that like it also tied in a lot of other things? I mean, not only that, adding the whole... But like the friend that like saved him was the same girl the one that ended up dying was the same girl that he saved from heroin overdosing at a party, or she was doing a speedball.
Speedball, yeah. Cocaine and heroin.
So it's, once again, underlying themes of like, freaking addictions or darker sides, things that are darker impulses.
Yeah, like it's a grimy movie.
It is. It's a
grimy high society movie.
And it takes something like, like it even takes something like, sex and adds like, it takes away the personalness to it and everything like that when they're all wearing the masks and everything. It definitely gets it gets dark. Like it takes away the
this movie is like pure removal of inhibitions.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And it's in all regards, really. Yeah. It's just about hedonism.
Mm-hmm. Even at the final scene is Alice and Bill taking their daughter Christmas shopping. They're in like this happy ass like Build-A-Bear type mall like place.
But it's not a happy scene.
Not a happy scene in the slightest. She's super happy, but in this scene is you have two beat down people that are on the brink of. In real life, it would end in like one of them would kill the other one. It would be a Forensic Files episode, or it would be divorce.
I'll be honest. If there was going to be a murder in this movie, it would have happened in the first 20 minutes when Tom Cruise just beats his wife to death. He's the most patient man on the face of the planet.
The movie is very well acted because, dude, at certain points you're like, wow.
And even like she wakes up from a dream and she just tells him, she's like, man, I was having a dream where I was fucking all these dudes and laughing at you. He's like, why? Why are you telling me this? Just keep it to yourself, you malicious, spiteful woman. Please, stop it.
What did I do to you? There's even that one part where...
Just because two women flirted with me.
There's even the one part, too, where, like, it's, like, playing in the background in his head. It's like, and they were just fucking me.
I know.
Over and over.
And he keeps having flashbacks throughout the movie to pictures of his wife fucking that naval officer.
It's some real...
Like, he keeps, like, flashing to it and he's just like, you know what, maybe this justifies it.
It's some real gut punch shit, though. But yeah, no, the movie's cool, man. I mean, I like movies that make you think, and it's one that sits with you. I get why you got up and left, because it's also like, you can't talk about something like that immediately, because it's like there's so much there.
Yeah, I had to digest it a little bit, and we're really not, I don't think we're doing it justice by talking. Like, there's a lot deeper themes to this.
Personally, I don't think it's necessarily my favorite Kubrick movie, but I do understand why it's a noteworthy one.
Yeah, like it's definitely top 3, solid, no doubt.
If you were like in weird circumstances, and you were like stranded on an island...
This one makes it in, like, the 500 you get to bring.
No, you only get to bring one Kubrick movie.
Ooh, no. Shining.
Which one?
It's Shining every time.
I think, personally, it'd either be Shining or Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
But I do understand this one, how it is crucial.
Mm-hmm. Different strokes for different folks. Yeah. It doesn't make it, like, a bad movie in any way.
No, it was good, but it definitely doesn't answer a lot flat out.
No. Wow.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. But, like, it just glowing reviews. Like, this is one that, like, you need to watch.
Just watch it. It's hard to even talk about if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, out of the 5 movies we watched, I think this is like my number 1 pick for. It's like, you gotta watch this one. Just watch it. Get out of the way.
It's definitely...
It doesn't matter what movies you like. Just take the time.
Does it go on your list of movies to see at least once?
I think so.
Like, you think that as a human being, you should just witness this movie?
I think of the 5 movies, this is the one that makes it on that list.
Yeah,
there's ones I really like on this list. It was mainly good movies this week, but this is one that's like, no, you put it on there for like you need to. If you like movies,
if you don't mind like a lot of afterthought on it.
Yeah, like if you like movies where you can watch it and then like 10 seconds you're like, I remember watching a movie once. Then maybe not, but maybe it'll change your mind.
Kubrick and Eyes Wide Shut are like ogres, and ogres are like onions.
Because onions have layers, like parfaits.
That's kind of my highlight. Is just there's a lot of layers to this movie. There's a lot to dissect.
Yeah. Which is like one that like
Which
I
is
know
part of why I like it.
episode 100, we're going to rewatch it. We're going to watch our top 5 favorite movies from the year. All right.
The pot is making you aggressive.
The pot is making you aggressive. The 4th movie we watched that was not a new release was Train to Busan. It's one that I had been meaning to watch for a long time, and TJ also actually hadn't seen.
Same here.
It is a South Korean horror movie where it's a real bare bones, simple premise. It's like zombie virus breaks out, passengers on a train try to survive long enough to make it to Busan. Because maybe there's hope that there aren't zombies there. And that's pretty much the gist of it. Like, we get caught in at the very beginning of the outbreak, like second 0.
Really beginning. Like, opening shot, they tell you something's wrong at, like, some chem plant.
Yeah, and that's it.
And then it shows that fucking deer.
Yeah, a guy hits a deer with his car, and then the deer gets up a couple seconds later. It's like, oh, cool, zombies.
Yeah, that was a really cool opening shot, too.
Yeah.
But I just can't emphasize already enough that this is way more than zombies on a train.
Way more than zombies on a train.
Oh my god. Like, I don't know, personally, as it hit every note I wanted it to for me, and then some.
It does. This is one of the best horror movies I've seen in like a couple years. It's been a little while.
Dude, it's very rare that a zombie flick, I mean, we'll get into
It's good.
Not only is good, but like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I fucking genuinely teared up at one point.
Did you?
Yeah.
Ooh, alright.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's the same point.
Did you tear up?
Yeah.
Yeah? See, how often? Like,
Mine's probably a different part than yours, though.
Okay, it was towards the end.
Yeah, it was towards the end.
Okay.
But yeah, like, this is really good. Like, it's such a good movie just because, like, it's... Oh, fuck, it's hard to even
Nothing
get into.
Gets you more in touch with your morals and reasons.
Yeah, like, it's such a tense
alive.
movie. So this is like a zombie movie. They're not like slow-moving zombies. It's like you get bit, and then you become a zombie, like right then, and you're fast, and you're angry. Like 28 days later.
Yes, the rage virus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Very similar, because once you turn, you turn.
Yeah, but that's how you do scary zombies
Oh my
now.
God. But this movie managed to do such a balance of, like, they don't even spend necessarily a lot of time introducing all the characters.
No, they take no time.
But here's the thing. Each character's screen time, they make it fucking
They make
count.
it count. Like, each character has such, like, clearly defined personalities and traits that they don't need to tell you their entire background. You can just impose your own onto it, and it
It was
works.
so cool, like, the way it was done.
Yeah, and also, it doesn't waste time on exposition.
And you have the
Oculus.
subplot, too, of the guy. Alright. Take your jabs. But, no, but they paint such a cool story. Like, the main characters are the fund manager dad and the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sake of me not butchering names, I'm going to refer to them by archetype, not by name.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I just, my mouth doesn't make the words right.
I agree.
Okay.
That was one
Just
thing I was...
getting that
That's one
disclaimer
thing I
out
was worried
there.
about reviewing it, too. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to come off
Because it's like the
disrespectful.
daughter's name was like Suan, and I'm like, I'm going to call her Sue. And then there's one girl who was like young, and I'm like, no, that's I feel like it's not.
No, but this movie had a lot of, like, emotion, and they mixed in, like, a lot of cool, like, social commentary.
To an extent, yeah.
They really did. I mean, not only that...
Well, I think it's not social commentary. I think it's commentary more on just, like, what you got to do to survive.
Right.
And how different people react to those
right.
situations.
And you know what I like? It was cool to see for the most part, too, is a lot of people did want to work together. Like,
Yeah.
from the get-go. And they even realized, like, even though you're an asshole, we're better off together in certain points.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
look at the wrestler guy, or not the wrestler guy, the big buff.
See, I called him
tough
bulky. I called him bulky / maybe
You know what I'm
like a
talking
gangster
about?
guy.
Gangster guy, yeah, that's a
Because
good
like
one.
he came from obviously like a tougher background.
That's the one with the pregnant wife, right?
With the pregnant wife. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was like one of my favorites.
He was my favorite character,
Yeah.
like hands down. Like he was the
Fucking
coolest
love
guy.
that guy.
But
no, yeah. One thing I was gonna say about the social commentary thing, though, but what was really cool is like that one news montage when all hell's breaking loose and all you see on the TV is what's
it's the
going on.
government
outside
telling
the
them, hey, don't trust what you see online. Everything's
Everybody's
okay.
a liar kind of thing, and
Yeah.
like, you know, by the way, really cool things of like when the zombies are hanging on the helicopter
And they fall.
and those people are skateboarding and they just start falling down. It's crazy to take a movie like that and not skimp on the horror either, because
Yeah.
it's the contortions, the makeup, everything.
That is one of my small gripes. It's like, at the end of the day, these are still human bodies. If you drop a human body from like 80 feet off a helicopter, they're a fucking like jellied pulp on the ground. They're not like getting up.
But damn it, did it look cool.
It looked cool.
Because
they did get up and they were fucked up. Like one had like his arm was like all bent behind his head. And
the cinematography was fucking gorgeous.
It was good.
In this movie.
Yeah, it was well shot.
Oh my god.
It was really good.
It kind of reminded me almost like of something that would be like almost a different medium other than film. Like, it reminded me almost like of a graphic novel or a comic anime. Like, the way things were introduced and, like, I don't know how to explain it necessarily.
It's a limited environment, so they had to get creative with how to show different shots without it getting stale.
It was really cool. Like, could you, like, imagine, like, it being, like, this being, like, transitioned into, like, say, like, a graphic novel?
Yeah, it definitely would work.
It would be really cool with the way the frames were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, it was... I think the selling point of this is the wide cast of characters they had.
It even... Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, like, you really figure out everything, like, without necessarily being, like, beat over the head with it. It's like, alright, so the fund manager got divorced from his wife because he didn't have enough time to dedicate to family. And then you've got the daughter who just wants her dad to be around.
The young baseball players.
And then there's the one girl who's got feelings for the guy, and the guy doesn't want to admit it. And then you've got, like, the tough, like, rough kind of big dude who's, like, loves his wife, and he's a goofball, and she doesn't... And you have these two old ladies.
Super nice old
They're
ladies.
super nice old ladies, and it's like, you hit, like, all these, like, character notes.
You're forgetting one.
And then the asshole... I'm gonna call him politician/banker.
Elite fucking asshole. He was a CEO.
CEO.
Of something. Oh my God.
Important man. But like they're all like you can boil down the characters really easily.
But when you think about
But they stick with you.
When you think about it too, I thought that the one thing that was cool is you do watch the fund manager dad. His transformation throughout the movie, he was more of a CEO kind of guy at first. Not quite that bad.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, whose side was it? Because even the big tough guy was like, oh, that's what you do. You leech on the poor people. Because in the beginning, remember, he was like, sell everything.
Yeah.
Fuck all of the little people.
But I think there's a difference between, like... I don't think he was an asshole in the beginning. I think he was someone who was dedicated to his work so he could provide a life that he wanted his family to have. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he was right in what he thought they should have.
Right. He also almost shut the door on pregnant wife and tough guy.
He didn't think they were going to make it. And when in those decisions, sometimes you got to go. It's like, well, fuck, maybe they won't make it. And then he's like, oh, they are going to make it, and opened the door. And then closed it behind them. But, I thought that's what I figured.
Alright, sorry about that.
Alright. Where were we? Sorry, we had to cut a little bit out there.
You were saying that you didn't think that he was a bad person necessarily.
I don't think that he was necessarily a bad guy. I think he was just somebody who was caught up in his work. And his family suffered because of it. I don't think he was necessarily like a piece of shit. And he definitely does realize very quickly in the movie, it's like, my daughter's all I have. What do I got to do to protect her? Like, he puts her before everything else.
And they even did in the same way, even though he didn't want to, but for the sake of the kid. Like, you know, like, having, like, because the kid started painting a portrait of her dad that, like, you don't want, as a dad, you don't want your kid looking dressed. Like, as a
like, he bought her 2 Wiis.
Yeah, like, that's real hurtful.
Yeah, and he's like, I saw you at your recording for that song you're singing. And she's like, you weren't there.
He's like, I'm always there.
Yeah, but Santa's always watching, kid.
Yeah. But no, that was really cool. But you watch him transform into somebody who is definitely not like that by the end.
Yeah. Like, there's, like, strong character development where, like, he really redeems himself as a person. And, like, by the end, you're just like, man, just make it. Just make it. Just make it.
Yeah.
It was just really good. But what was the part you teared up at, TJ? Was it the very end?
No, there was the one part where I think it was also, like, it's really cool in a zombie movie to have other things that are scary besides the zombies. And the one part was when they were fighting to get into the other car towards the end, and like,
and everybody had blocked it off. Like, the bulk of the people were like, "Fuck you."
You had the elite guy, the CEO guy, that convinced everybody in that car that they were more entitled than the other people to get in there. And even after that happens, that's not even the part I'm talking about. It was more like after the fact, after they got in there, and all that bullshit that could have been prevented, like, happened. They were like, "You can't stay with us. Go." And they're like just berating children and pregnant women saying, "Get out! get out, and it's just like, oh my god, you know, like.
See, that's not what made me
no,
tear up
that
at
actually
all.
didn't make me tear up. The tear up part towards the end was, I'm just saying that was a good.
Oh, okay.
Scare part. I'm sorry, you asked me what made me tear up, but I'd say it was towards the end when it was like when the dad was gonna go off the train because he's been bitten.
The heroic sacrifice of the dad at the very end when
oh my god, it got me.
He gets bit and he's having the flashbacks of his daughter's being born, like those early memories.
He finally realizes like what was worth living for, like why he did what
he doesn't die with regret.
No, he actually, it's dude. For once in his life, he has a smile on his face, and that's when he just falls off the train. Also, the way it was shot, the music that was playing, everything about that scene was just like wow.
Yeah.
That and at the very ending when the final shot of the movie,
the little girl singing,
where they're doing that, it's almost Night of the Living Dead-esque.
I thought they were gonna shoot the kid.
It's exactly.
I know that's what they wanted, and it worked.
Have you ever seen the original Night of the Living Dead?
Yeah. The main character gets shot right in the head at the end.
It ends on such a similar note, but this one, to me, adds even more of a powerful message because she's singing the song
that her dad wanted her to sing.
And dude, that fucking broke me. Like at the end of the movie, she's crying, holding on to the pregnant lady, and it's just, oh my god.
That's not at all what made me cry, though.
No, what made you cry?
That made me just kind of like...
That one did.
It was a good ending. I was very pleased leaving. I was like, man, that's a good ending. What made me cry is, like, I get a little teary-eyed when there's heroic sacrifices. And it's when the big bruiser guy was holding the door and he's getting bit and he's, like, starting to turn, but he's still, like, holding him back just long enough for his, like, pregnant wife to make it through.
Yeah, and then he finally says a name because throughout the whole
he gives her a name for the baby because he had been holding out the entire time.
Oh, that guy was also some great comic relief.
He was funny. I thought at the first, I'm sure they did this on purpose, but the little girl goes to use the bathroom and he's like standing outside the door listening to his wife use the restroom, and he's like, "Oh, they're peeing for two in there."
Yeah,
and I'm like, is he implying that someone's fucking his wife in there? Is where like my mind went. I'm like,
he even had that really cool blue jacket. I'm like,
he
is
did.
He a pimp?
I just thinking. I'm like, is this guy like?
But no. Then later on, towards the end, like when she comes out and you see she's pregnant.
She's pregnant. You're like, was that an intentional joke or am I just like kind of off?
I even like how goofy he gets, like where he looks at the little girl and he's just like, I made that. Like,
because he's like such a
campy.
He's such a likable guy.
He really is. Or the scene where like when they get off the one train and they realize that the station is completely fucked. And there's more of like zombies like overrunning the station. When he's holding the door, funny how the tables turn. He's holding the door for the dad.
For the dad to make it in.
He's just like, asshole, get in. It was just really cool.
It's just I mean nothing but good things to say about this movie.
I don't have any problem with this movie at all. It's I think my favorite one that I watched all week. It hit all the right notes.
It did. Train to Busan is one that's like
I highly recommend it.
Highly recommend. For completely different reasons than Eyes Wide Shut and Moon.
Oh yeah, no, this one is just...
It's a fun movie.
It so easily could have been another, like, just generic zombie B-movie.
But it wasn't.
But it's so much more.
And it's so well paced, everything just... Nothing good things to say. Like, that's all. I usually hate things. It's the Oculus. Like, I'm not willing to budge. I'm willing to say something that's shit, but this was like,
and
no!
It packs such emotion and thought. And by, when I meant social commentary earlier, zombie movies in general use the recurring themes of who are the real monsters at the end of the day, us or them. But it takes something like that can get stale sometimes, and I think it keeps it fresh. It executes it better than a lot of American zombie movies.
Most zombie movies are bad.
You're right. I'd say, 28 Days Later, Night of the Living Dead, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Those are the ones that I always value as, like, favorites. And this one, easily, is probably... I'm going to put it up there. It's one of my top favorite, best zombie movies I've seen, period.
Yeah. Like, it's... Just go see it.
That's all I can say.
Just go see it.
Oh, one more thing to note. The director...
Train.
Oh.
No, you say yours.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors?
No, you're good.
Okay. No, the director, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Song Ho Yeon?
Song Ho Yeon.
Hope I got that right.
Yeah, okay. But that guy, I found out that there is an animated movie that serves as a prequel. Really? And it's like an hour and a half. It's like a full-length movie that it involves like different perspective. I think it's called you're gonna have to look up the title of it. I think it's called Seoul. Seoul? Yeah, I think it's called
the capital of South Korea?
Or yeah. It might be called that, or I'm gonna have to find the name of the movie.
Alright. I'll edit that in post and I'll just talk over all this.
But yeah, no, there's another movie that's like a whole other perspective, and he has to say.
Is it on the cheat sheet you gave me?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Hey, this is Present Day Ben. The name of the movie was Soul Station.
There is another movie though.
There is another movie,
and it takes place in the same world, the same time period. It's different perspective of the outbreak.
Completely
different, but it's also that director is attached to it. He did it.
Okay.
So it's something that I'm very interested in checking out, and it's kind of funny because like I did mention I could see it as another medium. It'll be really cool to see it as an animated movie.
Yeah.
Like I think that they could do.
It's that aesthetic that you were talking about.
They could keep the same tone and do it in a different medium. I think it'll be really cool.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That one I might just check out on my own.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. I just have to write that in the letter. What we do this week?
I found out about it like later on. It was super cool though.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to talk about their special feature for this week.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. What did we watch? What was the new release? Because we put it up to the audience to decide, and by the audience decide, I mean us first decide. We were bouncing between Upgrade and Action Point. Which one did we end up actually watching?
We went and saw Upgrade.
Did we now?
Yeah. And I know that you said we got to give a spoiler-free review, but there's one thing I got to
Let's do a spoil. Well, we're going to give the spoiler-free part, and then I'm going to give you a big window where I'm going to tell you exactly where to skip to if you don't want spoilers.
No, but this part I have to spoil. It's something that we said in the other episode.
What did we say in the last episode,
So it turns out you're watching this movie, and you start to realize that the main character that you thought was Tom Hardy the whole time isn't even played by fucking Tom Hardy.
It's not Tom Hardy.
It's a guy named Logan Marshall Green, and holy shit, does he look exactly like Tom Hardy. He sounds like Tom Hardy, to the point to where...
In the YouTube video, I'm putting in a picture of the two of them together.
I think
you can't tell the difference.
What's great is like, dude, there's no way we're the only ones that think this.
Yeah, it's just like I saw the poster. We were talking about it on the podcast. We were like, all right, let's set this up. It's obviously Tom Hardy, and it's not Tom Hardy at all.
No, but he could be Tom Hardy.
Could be Tom Hardy. Maybe they'll get him to play Tom Hardy in the biopic. Just really fuck with them.
But no, it's played by Logan Marshall Green.
Logan Marshall Green. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, let's just jump into it with the spoiler-free stuff. We got to be careful here. Might have to cut some stuff out just to kind of dance around it. But let's just give the general premise for this. This is set in the near future, where it's kind of like where we're getting there for like technology, where it's like becoming more automated. We've got self-driving cars replacing analog. We've got police drones going around, kind of just like a Big Brother state almost. Yeah. But it's like a Big Brother state where people willingly gave up their rights to privacy.
Totally fine with it.
Yeah. And this is kind of like a tongue-in-cheek perspective on that. And like, even though you're sacrificing these things for security, it might not always work out. Because Gray, who's a self-identified technophobe, has his world turned upside down by his wife dying in front of him and him being paralyzed from the neck down. He fucking hates the world he lives in, because even though there's all these police drones, they can't identify who killed his wife because there's illegal ways to get around that, where your face won't show up on it. The self-driving car crash that put them in that situation. Just like, he is done with this world.
he never was one for it to begin with.
No. Like, he fixed cars.
That doesn't spoil anything. They picked that early on.
Yeah, and like, he's like, kind of like, haha, there's some things that, men can do that can't be done by machine. And that's kind of where it gets blended in, because this is a light spoiler, but the whole movie depends on this, is that he's paralyzed from the waist down, or the neck down.
After the terrible crash.
After this terrible crash, and a device is implanted into his spine that allows an AI to kind of pilot the body so that he can walk again.
Yeah, it's kind of like... Yeah.
I don't want to say RoboCop, because it's not.
Yeah.
But it's like, man gets new lease on life with cybernetic enhancements.
And we shouldn't say Venom, because it's not Tom Hardy.
It's not Tom Hardy, so we can't make the Venom comparison anymore.
You still can, but you can't.
Yeah, it just doesn't... It's not as poignant.
But it's an AI that, in theory, is cool, because it can make paraplegics walk again.
Yeah. Like, it's a great piece of technology, and the way he gets to it is through somewhat illicit ways, which explains why not everybody has access to this. But it's pretty good. Let's just get into spoilers in just a minute here.
Okay.
I'm just going to say, I recommend it. It's fun.
I do too.
It's flawed.
I do too. No,
it's flawed, but it's fun,
but
and I think it's worth a watch.
The aesthetic is really cool too.
Yeah.
Like, it's like got this subtle humor set in this like kind of gritty futuristic environment. That's why you keep drawing the RoboCop-ness and stuff like that.
It's a good one. Unfortunately, there's so many good movies out there right now that I'm hard pressed to say rush out and go see it unless you're somebody who goes to the theaters very frequently or has no interest in like the mainstream releases. Just because it's like, well, you could go see Avengers if you haven't, or you can go see Deadpool, or you can see any of those movies that we joked about in episode 0. If you haven't seen those, like obviously, I gotta say, like probably see those first. But if you got the time, check out Upgrade.
Yeah. Also, if you're a big fan of practical effects.
There was a fair amount of practical effects in it.
There was some damn cool practical effects.
Yeah. Or very convincing CG.
Yeah.
At the very least. But, yeah, that was a really fun movie. I recommend it. I'm going to get back to you in just a sec. I'm going to pause. I'm going to give you a nice window for you to get the hell out if you don't want spoilers on this one. I'm going to dub in my own voice here for a second. I'm going to say, hey, jump to blah, 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 and hey. This is your spoiler warning. You're going to want to jump to about an hour in and 18 minutes to give you enough time to not catch all the spoilers, but jump in for our recap at the end. Thanks for watching. Alright, cool. So now, those of you that are left are the ones who are completely okay with going into spoilers as we kind of qualify our opinions a little bit. I'm going to just get this out of the way. Do you want to dive into some of the minor complaints before we just go say all the really nice, pretty things about it?
Some complaints?
Because I've got a couple complaints. I'm being a little nitpicky.
My complaint, the way the goon villains looked. Not
Are
like
you saying that Fisk the
all.
android looked like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes, 110%. It was weird. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool because it is a society where there's upgraded humans, so you could take somebody that looks kind of like that.
Yeah, he's also a weenie who tucked a polo shirt into jeans.
Oh, God. You look like Kip from Napoleon Dynamite.
It's like he's like this badass ex-marine with cybernetic implants, but he dresses like a fucking weenie.
Yeah. Did you mention that his wife gets gunned down by these people?
No, I was leaving that in the spoiler.
That is crucial to the plot.
Yeah, because I said she dies, but...
But
yeah, these cybernetic criminals shoot this dude's wife in front of him and paralyze him with a gun hand.
Really cool.
and paralyzes him from the neck down, even though they make it look like they tried to kill him and just fucked up, and he got to watch his wife bleed to death in front of him. Yeah, like I called it like second zero, where he's like, this dude's life's dying.
Yeah,
he has to have motivation, which is like that's whatever. And there was like some ham-fisted elements in it, which were kind of like, you're like, oh, transhumanism.
Was it the whole thing where technology can be cool to us, but it can also be our worst enemy?
Yeah, and it's like, what are upgraded people? You know, it's like, what's the next step of human evolution? Is everybody going to have all these implants as we get old?
I thought it was really cool, though, that they had just this society that... I like that they kind of just threw you in the middle of this world where some people are upgraded.
The world building is great.
Aren't. Like, they just... And what's cool is they don't spend a lot of time giving you backstory. They just throw you in it.
Yeah, I just think the ideology was kind of... It wasn't subtle. Because he's like, there's some things that only people can do. And the guy's like, fuck that, I'm going to kill your wife. I'm going to make you a robot man. And you're like, alright, cool. I guess that's what we're doing now. And it's like, alright, and robot cars are kind of fucked because they're not perfect. And then the police drones are fucked because they can't actually catch criminals.
But the idea of, like, upgrading humans is really cool.
It is, but it's been done in a more clever way elsewhere that makes you actually think about it.
Something more clever than death sneezes?
That was kind of stupid. Why didn't you use those in the big fight with Gray?
Yo, if you could get upgraded...
It's not going to be death sneezes.
What would yours be?
Okay, it's implied that the military put all these, like, enhancements into Kip.
Who came up with that?
Who came up with, like, let's put tiny flechettes inside this dude sneezes. That way they can get breathed in and, like, tear people apart from the inside, because they're also tiny nanomachine robots.
What would you want your upgrade to be?
I don't know. How about, like, one that makes it so I can eat whatever I want without having to worry about, like, calories?
Are you for real?
Yeah.
No.
Let's just do that one. Let's just do like a base level.
What's funny is I was thinking about this, and one that
give me a heart that's not gonna like quit on me one day.
See, I like that you're thinking logical. See, the eat whatever I want is the part I agreed with you. I wanted this thing where I want to like have upgraded like taste buds, where I could like eat something gross and change. Like I could select from a database of flavors for it to like make it work. Like say I'm eating.
You can eat ass and think it tastes like strawberries.
Yeah, until it starts to.
You want a mechanical tongue.
Yeah, but I also want to be able to like lick your face and have it like turn into acid. Like I can weaponize it too. Okay,
so your tongue is multi-fat. Wait, why?
I know.
Of all the body parts you have the acid ability, you want the one that can accidentally malfunction in your mouth and just melt you while you're sleeping?
I guess, but also I can make anything taste like ice cream.
Why don't you give yourself like a rocket tongue or something, or like one that's got like a chain on the inside that you can pull out like a sword and like whip people?
Too much responsibility. Just give me the flavor thing.
Just give you the flavor thing.
I can eat whatever I want. Like say I'm having like a Sweetos Slurpee.
Oh fuck that Sweetos Slurpee.
And I can make it taste like a Slurpee that a human could drink.
No. No such thing.
Yeah, no, but it was a really cool world they built.
It was. It was a cool world. The aesthetics were really cool. I'm a sucker for hexagons. Yeah? Yeah, you put hexagons on something and give it like the color yellow, and I'm like, I'm down. It's just something I see often enough in sci-fi that's like become a trend.
And also the dynamic of how STEM works, really cool. Yeah. Like it's literally like another being inside you. Like it could have conversations with you.
Yeah, it's intelligent. Yeah. It's like really, they make no mistake about it. It's like it needs permission, but it's intelligent.
Yeah, and it also like, you know, since we're talking about spoilers and everything, it literally like plays his weaknesses, Gray's weaknesses, against him to get what it wants. Yeah, because it's like, hey, your wife died and you're angry. Give me permission to like zoom in with your eyes so that I can identify that tattoo on the dude's wrist. And he's like, all right, sounds like a winning plan. Plus, he's also like, don't kill him. And he's like, but he killed your wife. And yeah, it's like, all right, fine, do what you got to do. So yeah, since we're getting into that, so he uses the robot. He uses STEM to hunt down his wife's killers, and it starts off where it's like, he's just going to break and enter into this guy's house and snoop around for clues. And then the guy comes home, and Stem is like, you know what we have to do, Gray? And he's like, what do we have to do? He's like, now's your chance, kill him while his back's turned. He's like, I don't want to kill him. Yeah. And the guy sees his reflection, and then Stem's like, I need to take over now. And so he's like, fine, do it. And then like the guy starts attacking him, and then Gray's not in control, but Stem's in control of this guy's body. And it's just doing kung fu. It just beats the shit out of them. Doesn't just subdue him. Like, no. Fucks that dude up. Yeah, and like they're getting this fight, and then it makes its way to the kitchen, and Gray's just like grabbing plates and just like smacking him on the head with them and shit. And the guy grabs a knife, and Gray's like, don't do it. Don't. You don't need a knife. You don't need a knife. Don't do it. And then Stem takes over and just fucking brutally murders this man. Yeah, puts him on his knees. Doesn't just, like, it's beyond anything. That's one thing. Dude. He cuts his head in half with a kitchen knife. I don't know how they pulled that off, but the whole theater was like hands on their head, like, holy shit. You know? Like it pairs, like, the comedy of Gray being so against it and him, like, freaking out with just the horrible graphic violence. Yeah, not Tom Hardy does a great job too at like playing dumb. Like, what? Oh my god, what are you doing? And then like, you know, he's just out of control of his own body. Yeah, but he understands that like he needs to do. And there's later scenes where he's just like he looks away while Stem does its thing. And I also love how they kind of made Stem like petty at certain points, like when he didn't get his way. Yeah, like he became withdrawn. And he was just like, yeah. Not talking and then he's like, you do realize you need me to walk. Like, he's like, fine. Oh, well, spoilers. He does hack the system to where Stem can take control without permission. Yeah. Which is like kind of the main crux of like the real plot towards the end. Mm-hmm. After, I'm going to get another complaint, there's a long drawn out car chase scene where not a lot happens in it until like the very end, and then it's kind of like, oh, well, Stem hacks a remote car and then causes the police officer chasing him to crash. Even though it's like this long, like 10-minute, 15 almost, like it goes on for a little bit. It goes on for a while, and it's like that would have been a really good opportunity, I think, for like Gray's fixes old analog cars. Maybe show that like he can drive too, and like he manages to like use that as an edge, and Stem has to like be like, maybe you're in control on this one, and done that. Like that could have been like a cool moment. Yeah, but maybe it just like it felt unnecessary. It didn't pay off in any cool way. It was just kind of like, all right, they got a car chase with one car in traffic in a dark road with some other cars on it. Like, it wasn't... That was like a gripe you had? Yeah, it's just like, it didn't need to be there. Yeah.
This is just me being nitpicky, but
I don't want to be too nitpicky, but one gripe I had was like when he snaps in and out, because like the whole thing with the thing is it's an experimental technology, and no one's supposed to know that he has it, so he still has to pretend to be a paraplegic.
Yes.
So when the cop that's investigating his whole case, it's like who killed his wife, comes in, she comes and pays him visits. And he snaps out of paraplegic mode like seconds after she leaves the room.
Yeah, like she closes the door and he's just like, oh my god, this is great! I love moving!
It bothered me on something. It's like, wait a few seconds. What if she forgot her fucking keys?
Yeah. It's like, just play it cool. It's like you've never been caught masturbating by your mom. You just be like, hey mom, just sleeping under the covers.
Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of masturbating.
Don't.
What?
Alright, continue.
No. Alright, say you had...
Did you make Stem jerk him off?
No, that's the thing. Is say you had Stem, would you be able to do that with Stem in you?
Well, it's an AI, so I'm not that worried about it.
No, but like, you know how he talks, he'd be like, permission to take over. Or like, what if like he's into different shit?
I make Stem give me a hand job, is what you're saying?
Or like, what if he's into different shit and halfway through like a video you're watching, he just like changes it?
Stem just watches like two fleshlights mash.
Yeah.
Like he's just...
1000. Or, Stem, no, please!
Like,
I'm not into that.
Stem has the ability to force your heart to push more blood into your erection. He can make you aroused at things you don't want to be aroused by. I don't like this dark future.
I could see the porn parody now. Uplaid.
Oh, man.
Like, I don't know, it's a valid question.
Your Stem malfunctions near a playground. Like, there's lots of, like, bad things that can happen.
Stem, I'm not into that. But I am.
Yeah, but like otherwise, like it was a good movie. The characters were flat, but it's entirely saved by there's a couple fun moments and
kind of funny, and
there's good action scenes for the most part, and it's got some funny like little joke moments.
It's an interesting blend of kind of funny, kind of nihilistic.
Yeah,
like the very ending, you didn't see that coming.
No, fuck it. We're just gonna get directly into the ending. So Stem turns out as an evil motherfucker. He's been manipulating events from the very beginning, which is kind of predictable. You can kind of piece some of it together.
Literally, humans are weak, humans are dumb. Cue Terminator theme.
Yeah,
guess, man. Like it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, and it basically goes, it's like, all right, I'm gonna break you, Gray. And Gray's like, nah, fuck that. You're not gonna break me. And then Stem just basically locks him in like a little virtual reality room inside his own head. It's like, hey, guess what? Your wife's still alive, and you didn't get in this horrible accident.
Remember me and you looked at each other. We were going to be pissed.
Yeah, we were like, oh, motherfucker, it was a coma dream.
Or I thought that it was like this whole thing was a simulation.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, you know, like leading up to it.
To test the AI to see if it would go evil.
This has a very bleak ending.
Like, yes, because guess what?
The slightest.
No, he was actually just locked in his own head, and then Stem was just like, fuck it. I guess I got a free body now. And then just starts killing all the witnesses.
I respect that.
And ends.
Yeah, you don't see that it necessarily goes that far. There are predictable elements of the movie, but not the very ending.
Not the very ending.
No.
That's the important part. Because it makes you go like, oh shit.
I think it just adds to the fun of the movie. It kind of reminded me in the same vein of like, if you're a fan of like Hardcore Henry or Crank, but I think that this one did better at having a little bit more like grounded substance.
Yes.
The other ones are fucking nuts and fun. I love them in their own right. But this one, I think this one just executed it better.
Yeah. It was a fun movie. It's one that I say, hey, check it out.
Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it's not going to be in theaters long, I have a feeling.
Fun.
I got a feeling this one's not going to stick around. It's not going to do the best commercially necessarily. I'll check.
Unless everybody thinks it's Tom Hardy.
Unless someone thinks it's Tom Hardy.
I'm telling you, I think they did that shit on purpose.
They raised this man from birth to look like Tom Hardy?
No, I'm saying that, like, they're not correcting that it's not Tom Hardy, and everyone's like...
Does that need to be a headline?
Hold on, yes, it should. I'm telling you, when you post...
Do I need to go on Logan Marshall Green's Twitter and just have him just, like, a sticky tweet of him saying, like, I'm not Tom Hardy?
If you Google, like, Logan Marshall Green, Tom Hardy, and look at the side-by-sides, it is
They're fucking
uncanny,
identical.
Dude.
Yeah.
Blows my fucking mind.
One of them needs to ditch the beard.
Yeah.
That way you can tell them apart.
Logan
it's like, Tom Hardy's the one with the beard.
If I asked him what he would want his upgrade to be, it'd probably be to be Tom Hardy.
I wish I was successful as him. I wasn't Bane.
No one looks at Tom Hardy and goes, is that Logan Marshall Green?
Nope.
But, I mean, the guy did good, though. I mean, it's not right. I'm not trying to compare him to Tom Hardy.
It was a strong performance. It was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Very fun movie.
Alright, that brings us to our final segment, where we just kind of wrap things up. Let's just go through a quick yay or nay on our movies, just a recap for those who skipped to the very end. And also, let's talk about what we're going to watch next week. Quick, 1, 2, 3, Moon.
Yay.
Yay. Movie 2, Oculus.
Personally, yay, but I see some of your gripes with it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, if anything, but I did like it.
No.
Ben says no.
Movie 3, Eyes Wide Shut.
Yay.
Yeah, of course.
Especially if you're a Kubrick fan.
Movie number 4, Train to Busan.
Big ol' yay.
Yeah.
Yay, yay.
That's a good one.
Like,
that's a winner.
Yes.
And movie 5, Upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Check it out. Why not? I hope most of the time we get to say yeses. I'm gonna give this
Me too.
I'm gonna give it 7 out of 8. Pinky fingers on a melon. I'm leaving that one in.
7 out of 8 pinky fingers on a melon?
Yep.
What does that even mean?
That's how good it was.
Okay.
What are we talking about next week?
Next week.
What are we watching?
Well, you said it's going to be a loose theme week because we are stoked as shit for this.
Let's talk about that at the end.
Right.
We're doing a dark week.
Yeah, we're going to do
We're watching just movies that are not good times.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to shoot the episode. Maybe we'll just
just end it.
Be in a dark corner taking a cold shower or something.
Yeah. So let's start this off.
Yeah, dark movie week.
I have been wanting to watch this for a while. It's a Turkish film, Baskin. A squad of unsuspecting cops go through a trapdoor to hell when they stumble upon a black mass in an abandoned building. I heard this one gets pretty fucked up. And that's all I'm going to say. Did you watch this yet?
I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, and
you're shaking your head, which
no,
but you're shaking it in like a
I'm not going to talk about opinions till next week.
All right,
but it's worth checking out.
It is worth checking out. All right, so what's the one that's on your list that you are interested in, TJ?
The one that I'm interested in, I've never gotten around to. I've seen it in snippets, but I've never sat through the whole thing and gave it like a proper viewing. Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Now that's of course Hannibal Lecter. He's not the lead in it, but he definitely is like the show stealer in all the movies that he stars in. And it's about a young FBI cadet who must receive the help of an incarcerated and manipulative cannibal killer to help her catch another serial killer, a madman who skins his victims.
See, I've seen Hannibal and like the other movies. It's just somehow this one has just escaped me. Yeah. What better time than to use this platform to force myself to watch it?
Yeah. It's a good one. It's one that I've seen. I've seen all the Hannibal movies. I've read the books as well, and they're a good watch for the most part. There's some of them that are kind of weaker than others, but Silence of the Lambs is definitely the highlight of the franchise. Mm-hmm. Next to the TV show. Not a lot of people watched it though. Next up, we are moving on to the recommendations for each other. I'm going to recommend
what you got?
The 1978 animated film Watership Down. This is a feel-bad movie. It's a real dark animated film about a group of rabbits who have to flee their doomed warren and face many dangers to find and protect their new home, which doesn't do it justice because it's just horrible animated animal violence.
Is that how you would describe the movie? No?
No, that's a fair one, but it's also... You could describe that for, like, Peter Rabbit, the animated film that came out, like, 6 months ago.
Yeah, I heard that was brutal.
I know they give a blueberry to a man, and he's allergic.
Yeah, that's... Dude.
This one, I'm pretty sure, has rabbits eat each other.
Oh, that's nowhere near as bad.
Yeah. Not nearly. But, this is one that I've enjoyed in the past. I saw it when I was, like, 13, because I'm like, I love animated stuff.
Have you ever had rabbits?
No.
No, like, as pets, not...
No, I think rodents are poor animals. Sorry, audience members who have rabbits. It's not my thing.
They're actually hard to take care of, man.
Yeah. They fucking kill each other. And they fucking kill each other. Just trying to decipher which words were which there.
But the things that you just had against rabbits are the same thing with humans.
Yeah. But I can do the fucking and the killing. But not to a rabbit.
Alright. I thought that part went without saying, but... And anyway.
Yeah, so what are you recommending to me,
what
TJ?
What I'm recommending to you is Green Room.
Green Room. This is one that slipped me by. It's a punk rock band is forced to fight for survival after witnessing a murder at a neo-Nazi skinhead bar. I saw the trailer when this first came out a couple years back, and I didn't know anything about that. I thought it was just, oh god, what is his name?
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart happens to be a bald man who runs a gang that wants to kill these teenagers who are locked up in a building for some reason. That's all I got from it.
It's not X-Men.
It's not X-Men.
That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's worth checking out.
And this is starring Anton Yelchin, who unfortunately passed away shortly after this movie. I want to say it was like while it was in theaters.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
I know it got some buzz for that, but I heard it was a really good movie. It's on the shorter side, but hopefully it should be like pretty enjoyable. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Alright, so our last movie is going to be Hereditary, not Heredity, as I keep saying on accident. Hereditary's premise is that when the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter's family begins to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry. There's a little kid that clicks, and she's real creepy, and she cuts the head off of a dove.
The trailer itself is unnerving. I'm really excited to see this.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one. It's
been getting a lot of buzz on the festival
a
circuit.
lot of buzz on the festival circuit.
Like, I really hope it'll live up to the potential.
Yeah.
Should be really cool. Fun. It's I believe this is A24 Studios too, which is the same company that brought to attention Green Room for me and a few other movies. It's hard to I don't go out of my way necessarily to follow production companies, but this was one they get a hold of some good movies to distribute. It's really cool. I look forward to it.
I'm looking forward to this one. It should be a pretty good week ahead of us. Hopefully there's none that are fucking god awful, like Oculus, which by the way, the production company for it was Blumhouse, but it was also WWE Productions.
That is the weirdest fucking thing. I tried looking into that. Was there a wrestler at all in it?
No!
How did they get
WWE?
Right? That is probably the most...
my big takeaway for that movie. I forgot about it here. I remembered it on the back end.
See what I mean? It got you. It's messing with your perception of reality.
Fuck you!
That was a real head scratcher too.
Yeah.
By the way, that was a long ass opening scene of so many different production companies behind that.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was 5.
Yeah, I think even Blumhouse.
Blumhouse was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Which
crazy.
just proves hit or miss with them.
Yeah. But yeah, WWE. Also, did you know that the dad in Oculus, do you know that guy, Rory Cochrane?
He looks familiar. Was he on Supernatural or something?
No, he's the fucking burnout stoner in Dazed and Confused.
No shit.
Yeah, the one that's I'm gonna give you Shotgun Man, and of course George Washington smoked pot. The really burnout guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same dude.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder why he hasn't done more.
Well, he did Oculus.
Alright. Well, this brings us to the end of the show, where hopefully you've stuck around long enough and I managed to cut this together in a way that halfway makes sense and is halfway enjoyable to listen to. Yeah. I just want us to take this quick moment. I know TJ feels very similar to me. Just to thank you all again. I know I did it at the top, thank you at the bottom as well. It really means a lot that you guys have listened to this.
Love to hear you. Love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
If there's anything you want us to watch, if there's any
advice tips, things that we did wrong, things we can do better, please just let us know.
Something I enjoy looking forward to do. It's something I enjoy doing. So anything you have to say about it, very valid.
Exactly.
Very important to us.
And we're acknowledging that it's going to be rough at start until we kind of find our footing and learn how to cut these better and stay on track and kind of get some of the giggles out and things like that. But really, just please give all your feedback you can. And this is the part where I'm just going to flat out beg. Please like us on Facebook. Like the actual comments that we post. Like the video on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel.
On Facebook, does it just come
Share
up?
it to your... It will come up if you've liked the page. Share the video. Share the Facebook page. Really do as much as you can to send this to as many faces and as many eyes as you can get it to. Just because that means that we can maybe find some people out there who think we're funny who aren't necessarily our direct friends.
But most of all, just listen.
Just listen.
I always appreciate
the view count is the biggest thing for us because we're hey, cool.
Or don't listen. I'm not going to tell you how to run your life.
If you made it to this point and you've chose not to listen in the future, I salute you for sticking it out this long.
I still love you.
Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to like it. We're two guys talking about movies. We don't even have good opinions.
We say fuck a lot.
We do say fuck a lot. Well, see ya.